Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Hasham. Now in this video I am going to explain two important topics under the head income from salary. That is profit in lieu of salary and what are the retirement benefits which an employee may get at the time of retirement. So these two concepts, only theory I am going to explain, because in examination don't think that you will get only problems. Theory is the foundation. Without understanding the theory, you should not go to the problems. So from beginning, I am suggesting to my dear students, first of all, give importance to theory. So if you have not watched, I suggest you go to the playlist of my channel, select the subject income tax for the assessment year 25-26. Watch the entire theory videos, then you can be able to understand and you can enjoy doing the problems on income tax. So this video, very short video I am making for this one, in which profit in lieu of salary. The components of salary are salary, allowances, perquisites, and last one, profit in lieu of salary. So already we have completed what are the items that may come under the head salary, what are the allowances, taxable, fully taxable, partly taxable, then perquisites, rent-free accommodation, all these things we have done. Now, profit in lieu of salary. Actually, in most of the cases, we won't have any item under the head profit in lieu of salary. But according to the provisions given by the Income Tax Act, we have to study. And in examination, you may get a theory question regarding what do you mean by profit in lieu of salary. Profit in lieu of salary means in place of salary. Now, first of all, income tax, assessment year 25-26, profit in lieu of salary and retirement benefits. So these two topics I am going to explain. First of all, the meaning of the term profit in lieu of salary. If the employer pays any amount instead of salary, it is known as profit in lieu of salary. In profit in lieu of salary in place of salary. Sometimes the employer will pay a certain amount to the employee without paying the salary, some other amount will be paid. That is called profit in lieu of salary. Generally, these amounts are paid where the salary ceases to exist. That means as long as the employee is giving the service to the employer is paying the salary. So whenever the employee is not providing any service, then instead of salary, some other amount will be paid by the employer. That is called profit in lieu of salary. Where the salary ceases to exist, then the amount paid by the employer is called profit in lieu of salary. The examples, three examples I have taken here. The profit in lieu of salary. Three examples I have taken here. Any compensation, profit in lieu of salary includes the following. Any compensation due or received in connection with the termination of the service or modification of the service conditions. So any amount paid by the employer to the employee on termination of the service or modification of the service conditions. तो सर्विस टर्मिनेट होने दो या मॉडिफिकेशन होने दो, एट दैट टाइम एम्प्लॉयर जो एम्प्लॉय को पे करेगा, that is an item of profit in lieu of salary. Secondly, any payment received from the present or former employer in appreciation for the services rendered. Sometimes the employer will appreciate the services rendered by the employee. In that case, in appreciation of services, the employer may pay some amount to the employee. That is also a profit in lieu of salary. Thirdly, refund from unrecognized provident fund to recognized provident fund. Employer's contribution and interest on the same. Different types of provident funds are there. Recognized provident fund and unrecognized provident fund, RPF and URPF. So during the previous year, if any amount is transferred from URPF to RPF, refund from URPF, unrecognized provident fund, to recognized provident fund, so whatever employer's contribution and interest thereon. A provident fund scheme, in the coming video I am going to explain you completely regarding what is provident fund and what are the different types of provident fund. statutory provident fund, recognized provident fund, unrecognized provident fund, and public provident fund. SPF, RPF, URPF, PPF, 4 different types. तो एक अगर URPF, if the employer is maintaining URPF and during the current previous year they have converted from URPF to RPF, in that case the amount transferred from URPF to RPF. Employer's contribution, not employee's contribution. Employer's contribution and interest thereon, that will also be taxable under profit in lieu of salary. Now, the following are not to be included under the head profit in lieu of salary. Specifically, Income Tax Act has given some examples that these are the items that should not come under profit in lieu of salary. So, what are the items? Death cum retirement, and these are taxable under the head salary. It will not be taxable under the head profit in lieu of salary, but the unexempted amount is taxable under the head salary, not under profit in lieu of salary. So what are death cum retirement, gratuity, commuted value of pension, leave encashment on the eve of retirement, then refund from statutory provident fund and recognized provident fund, retrenchment compensation up to rupees 5 lakh. So specifically these 5 items are given by the Income Tax Act. So any amount received under these 5 items, if it is taxable, then it will come under salary. It will not come under profit in lieu of salary. So these are the things you have to write in examination if a theory question comes regarding explain about profit in lieu of salary. So 3 examples you give, what are the items that comes under profit in lieu of salary. Then these 5 items specifically you should mention that these items will not be taxable under the head profit in lieu of salary. The unexempted amount is taxable under the head salary. Now retirement benefits. At the time of retirement, many a times the employer may pay some amount to the employees. These are called retirement benefits received by employees at the time of retirement. So what are the items? When an employee retires from the service, he or she may receive the following monetary benefits. First one is pension. So in the next video, I am going to explain you about the tax treatment of pension. 2 types of pensions are there: periodical pension and lump sum pension, that is commuted pension, right? 2 types of pension. So pension, commutation of pension, gratuity, leave encashment, refund from provident fund. These are the examples of benefits at the time of retirement. Now first of all, pension. Pension refers to the periodical payment received by an employee from his former employer for the services rendered in the past. As long as the employee provides the service, he will get salary. That means after retirement, when he is not giving the service to the employer, but the employer periodically makes the payment. Example, an employee has served 30 years under the same employer. Then according to the terms and conditions, after retirement, suppose a 30% of their salary will be paid monthly periodically by the employer to the employee. The employee is not providing any service. This amount he is getting because in the past he has given the service. That is called pension. In simple words, pension is the periodical amount which is paid by employer to employee after retirement, right? And pension received by SSC from his former employer is taxable under the head income from salary. Now, commutation of pension. This is a new term. Remember here, commutation means lump sum. At the time of retirement, employer will give the option to the employee that do you want periodical pension or you want lump sum pension. If lump sum pension is received at the time of retirement, it is called commutation of pension. That is also one of the retirement benefits. Under this scheme, if the retired employee foregoes part of his monthly pension, he will be paid a lump sum amount immediately. So at the time of retirement, employee has to give the option that he wants a lump sum pension or periodical. Sometimes 50% of the periodical pension they will forego. They will give the option to the employer. The employee will request the employer to pay 50% of the pension amount in lump sum. Remaining 50% he will get it periodically, monthly. So commutation of pension is an option to the employee. It is not compulsory to forego part of the pension. That is about pension. Now, gratuity. Very important retirement benefit many employees will get at the time of retirement. Gratuity. In the next video, I am going to explain you the tax treatment regarding the periodical pension, regarding the commuted pension, gratuity, etc. All these things, tax treatment, I am going to explain. Here I am explaining only the meaning of these terms. Now, gratuity. On the eve of the retirement, if the employer pays some amount to an employee for his long meritorious services rendered in the past, the payment is known as gratuity. Appreciating. The employer is appreciating the services rendered by the employee in the past years. In so many past years, he has given meritorious service to the organization. So, to recognize that meritorious services, the employer may pay certain amount at the time of retirement. That is called gratuity. Now, though it looks like a voluntary payment, but presently both government and non-government employees are receiving gratuity under a specific law. It appears that the employer is voluntarily paying the amount. But nowadays in every country, a specific law has been made for payment of gratuity for both government employees as well as non-government employees. That means it is not a voluntary payment right now, it has become a compulsory payment because specific law has been framed for paying gratuity to the employees. Now next one is leave encashment. In some of the organization, an employee at the time of his retirement can encash his unavailed leave. It is called leave encashment. Two types of leaves are there. First, those leaves that will lapse if the employee has not availed the leave. And second category of leaves are those leaves which can be accumulated if it is unavailed. If the employee has not availed the leave, those leaves will get accumulated, and at the time of retirement, the leaves can be encashed. For example, an employee has not taken the leaves during the service period. Every year 30 days leave has been assigned by the agreement by the employer. But the employee has taken only 10 days leave throughout the year. Then 20 days leave is accumulated. In that every year the leaves will get accumulated. At the time of retirement, he may be having nearly 6 months leave. Now the employee can encash that 6 months leave at the time of retirement. That is called leave encashment. Again, what is the treatment for encashment of leave? In the next video, I am going to explain you about the tax treatment. Now, refund from Provident Fund. Provident Fund is a saving scheme where every month employer and employee will contribute a certain amount to the Provident Fund. At the same time, employer will also contribute a certain amount to the employee's Provident Fund. So this Provident Fund will get accumulated every month, every year till retirement. At the time of retirement, the employee will get the whole amount of own contribution, employer contribution and interest credited in Provident Fund. This complete amount employee will get at the end, at the retirement, at the time of retirement. Now, Provident Fund linked with employment of that are of three types. 4 types of Provident Fund are there. That is statutory Provident Fund, recognized Provident Fund, unrecognized Provident Fund and public Provident Fund. Out of these 4, 3 are linked with employment. And last one, public Provident Fund, is not linked with employment. Anybody can become a member of PPF, Public Provident Fund. Not required that employment service should be there. But employment linked, only three: statutory provident fund, recognized provident fund, and unrecognized provident fund. At the time of retirement, employee will be getting back the amount credited in his provident fund account, which consists of the following components. At the time of retirement, the employee will get provident fund amount. Which amount? Three amounts. He has contributed, an employee has contributed to provident fund during the service period. Apart from that, every month employer also has contributed in the employee's provident fund. That is according to law. And thirdly, interest is credited every year in the provident fund amounts. So all these three amounts, it will get accumulated, and that amount will be paid to employee at the time of retirement. Now tax tax treatment, briefly I am explaining here. Refund from SPF, statutory provident fund. Suppose an employee is a member of SPF and every month the amount is credited in SPF, statutory provident fund. Total amount received from SPF at the time of retirement is 10 lakh. 10 lakh rupees is the total amount received from SPF at the time of retirement by the employee. Income Tax Act says completely exempted from tax. No tax on refund from SPF. Point to be noted. Second, refund from RPF, recognized provident fund. What is the difference between SPF and RPF? In the next coming videos, I am going to explain you. So any amount received from RPF, that is also fully exempted from tax. Now refund from URPF, unrecognized provident fund. Employer's contribution plus interest on employer's contribution is taxable. So if the amount is credited in URPF, then employer's contribution and interest on that employer's contribution is taxable. Employee's contribution in URPF is not taxable, right? So in a capsule, in tabular form, I will show you like this. Serial number, income details, government employee, non-government employee. First of all, pension. Now, pension received by government employees. Pension here means commuted pension, no, periodical pension. Pension here means periodical pension, monthly pension. So it is fully taxable as salary income for government employees and fully taxable as salary income for non-government employees. तो चाहे government employee हो या non-government employee हो, periodical pension is fully taxable under that salary. Commutation of pension. If lump sum pension is received, commuted pension is received, government employee fully exempted, not at all taxable. Whereas non-government employee partly taxable. That means some amount is exempted and the remaining amount is taxable. So partly taxable and partly exempted. Commuted pension for non-government employees, right? Similarly, gratuity. Gratuity received by government employees at the time of retirement, fully exempted, no tax. Whereas gratuity received by non-government employee, partly taxable, partly exempted. That is the rule you have to remember. All these points we are going to apply in the coming problems. Next one is leave encashment. Last one. Leave encashment received at the time of retirement is fully exempted from tax for government employees. For non-government employees, again partly taxable, partly exempted. That's it. In the next video, in detail, I am going to explain you so how much is partly taxable, how much is not taxable, all these details I am going to explain you in the next video. So without understanding this, you should not go to the problems. That is the reason why I am explaining each and every point in detail. So in this video, two things I have explained: profit in lieu of salary and retirement benefits. So if you are satisfied with my lecture, give a like to the video, share my channel among your friends, among your groups, so that more students can watch the video. And give your comments, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Inshallah, we'll take up the next topic in the next video.